participating in a caravan does not give you any additional legal rights. If you illegally enter our country, you will be referred for prosecution. If you file a false asylum claim, you will be referred for prosecution. If you aid and abet or coach someone to break our laws, you also will be referred for prosecution.
All right, DHS Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen doubling down on that warning to that caravan of migrants arriving at our country's border sometime this week. We don't know when. We do know that a lot of them aren't Mexicans. A lot of them are Hondurans, and in fact, maybe as many as 3/4 of them. What they plan to do at the border, or whether they plan to cause any trouble at the border, whether there are others behind them, there are reports that there are, or whether, well, this is all being made a big deal to justify a stepped-up National Guard presence there. Hard to say. This much is not. This next fellow is on top of it, far better than I, the former ICE agent David Ward, who joins me right now. Dave, good to have you back. Thank you for taking the time.
Thanks for having me back, Neil.
What is going to happen then? They get there, let's say, tomorrow, Saturday. Then what?
It all depends on where they're going to come in. If they come through the port of entry, the inspectors there will probably turn them around and have them go back south. If they persist to come forward, they'll refer them to an asylum officer. But what I'm afraid of is that they're going to be going back into Mexico and then do an end around, come across our border, then turn themselves over to the Border Patrol, who in turn will have to leave their posts, take all these aliens into custody, process them. In the meantime, opening up our border for the cartels to exploit with their drugs or whatever else are going to come, whatever else will come across. The other thing with this migrant group, it's a concerted effort by Pueblo Sin Frontera, who is an anti-border, anti-sovereignty group out of California, who's orchestrated this entire thing, and they've done it for several years. Why they have not been prosecuted at this point is beyond me, but they can be prosecuted for 8 U.S.C. 1325, 24, and 18 U.S.C. 1326, or 27 rather. So they need to be prosecuted for allowing this to happen.
What I don't understand with this, David, I know you and I have gotten into this. I'm told that caravan is the word of choice, but whatever you call it, large groups of illegals moving up through Mexico and getting to the border, that is not unusual. What is slightly unusual here, though, is the Mexican government sort of paving the way for them. And I don't know who to believe on this, but I want to get your thoughts that a lot of these, Honduran illegals had very little difficulty getting into Mexico and even less getting to this point now. Is that true?
Well, it is true, and Mexico allegedly is a democracy in which these aliens could turn themselves over for asylum in Mexico itself. But most of these groups that are coming out of Central America, and some of them are actually coming from overseas, from probably the Middle East or whatever. We don't know who is all in this group.
All right.
A lot of these the groups are infiltrated by cartel members or MS-13. They're from special interest countries from over in the Middle East as well. We don't know who's coming in. There's no way to vet them.
Yeah, that's a little worrisome. David Ward, former ICE agent, thank you very much, my friend.